I would always get mad when I would do something bad, but I learned that you're always going to have another chance. You're always going to get another try to do something again. It may not be the same exact thing that you messed up on, but you're always going to get a chance to redeem yourself.
A catcher has to be a good leader, both on the field and be able to guide their team. Has to be the ability to see things before they happen and to predict what the hitters may or may not do. A lot of catchers are guided by their coaches, pitch selection. I have trained Kristen to be independent. I just saw so much leadership in her as I watched her grow that I could develop her into not only a great catcher, being able to call games, but to be a captain and a leader. She never gives up on her teammates, and she's right there for them. And our team is different if she's not there.
If I was a younger player and I hadn't tried out for anything, I would definitely say just go for it. You're not always going to be the best. You're not always going to shine in front of everyone. There's always going to be people that's better than you. But don't give up. Don't let yourself get down. There's always another chance. There's always something else you could do to be better and progress. Right now my GPA is 3.0, and I got accepted to a couple Cal States, but I plan on going to Cal State San Bernardino and probably going to try on a walk-on tryout for softball or soccer. I haven't decided yet, but one of those.
My name is Daryl Vasquez. I go to San Bernardino High School. I'm in 11th grade, and I currently play baseball. When I first started playing baseball, I was about 3 years old. My dad introduced me to it. He basically taught me everything that I knew when I was young. And when my brother used to play here, I always wanted to be like him or something like him because he was my role model as an older brother. I play third, but they're moving me in the rotation at short right now because our shortstop's gone sometimes, and then I have to play short. The toughest thing about shortstop is having range and being able to get to where the ball's going. It could go in the hole, it could go up the middle. You have to be able to get there, be able to get dirty, not be afraid of laying out. And you have to also have an arm to make the long-range throw from wherever the ball is to the first. My favorite thing about playing short is that you have to run up on the ball because it's not very well to wait for the ball to come to you. You can't let the ball play you. You have to play the ball. I'm personally working on my fielding and my arm right now because my arm's not the best as it could be because I'm previously coming off of tendonitis, and I'm working on the stronger throws from third and short. During practice, we've been working on lately the fielding, infield and outfield, pre-game, so it helps us get ready for the game. The team, we're growing together. It's the same team as last year. We just lost one person, and we're just growing together to be a better team and have more confidence as a team to go out there and beat other teams. My favorite part about coming to practice is just being with my friends, enjoying the time with my coaches and my friends, fielding, hitting, and just having fun after school gives some stress out. But Coach Jody likes to see confidence in our players, go out there, have fun, hustle.
Daryl, in terms of a player, came to us with skill, but he's really grown a lot as a player. I think that the key to his growth currently is just the mental side of the game. I think the physical side, he has developed into a great young player. He had spoke about the ideas of getting into the hole and range.
Good afternoon. I call to order this joint regular meeting of the Mayor and City Council and the Mayor and City Council acting as the successor agency to the redevelopment agency of the City of San Bernardino. Thank you for joining us this evening. Ask that you would please silence all your cell phones and any other electronics and refrain from creating any disruptive sounds. At this time, I'd like to invite Pastor Tart Barnett from Anchor Bible Church of Redlands to come forward and lead us in the invocation. Please all rise.
Thank you, Mayor. Father God, it is our privilege to be citizens in the United States of America. We thank you for those who serve, who have dedicated their lives to sacrifice, hard work of serving, making decisions, and exercising the wisdom given them in order to do that which is absolutely best for the citizens of this wonderful city. Father, my prayer is that you would, in fact, grant them great discernment, wisdom, in particular tonight as they look at serious matters in an effort to do what's best for the citizens. Pray that you would give them the wisdom to do that which would protect the innocent and ultimately to punish the wicked, and that we might trust you ultimately for the outcome. And we ask these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor Barnett. Next, I'd like to invite Natalie Gumaishian to come forward and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
All hats and hoodies off. Put your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated.
Thank you, Natalie. Natalie is an honor student at Hillside Elementary School, and appreciate you being here with your mother tonight and leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance. We have a number of presentations this evening, but before that, we'll ask the City Attorney if he has anything to report out from closed session.
I do, Mayor. After that Pledge of Allegiance, I feel confident and comfortable that our city and our country is in good hands in the future and present, of course. Well, in the future, anyway. Under item A, Stephen Avila versus the City of San Bernardino, Council gave settlement directive by a vote of 5-0 with Council members Barrios and Valdivia absent. On the matter, under item A again, the case of Pitsor versus the city, Council gave settlement direction 7-0. Under A, the matter of Stowers versus city, settlement directive by vote of 7-0. Under item B, in the case of city versus Sue and Chi, Council gave settlement directive by vote of 7-0. And in the matter of city versus Gonzalez, Council gave settlement directive by vote of 7-0. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Invite Councilmember Nickel to the podium for special presentation to former CAO Greg Devereaux.
Now, being in city government, sometimes we forget that our great city is also the seat of the largest county in the contiguous 48 United States. With more than 20,000 square miles, San Bernardino County is larger than 9 states and 70 sovereign nations. It includes 24 incorporated cities and towns. It is home to more than 2 million people. In terms of population, it is the 5th largest county in the state of California and the 12th largest county in the United States. It is also the employer of more than 17,000 individuals. It has a budget of more than $5.5 billion. Serving as its CEO, Greg Devereaux's job has ranked among the most daunting. Yet, every time I have met him, he has never hesitated to greet with his trademark West Virginia joviality. And it is with great honor that today we recognize your service, Mr. Devereaux, to our county, to our city, to our region, to our country, in light of your recent retirement. I would like to invite the members of the City Council, Mr. Devereaux, if you would come up. I would like to read this from the City of San Bernardino, a resolution of the Mayor and City Council honoring and commending Gregory C. Devereaux, Chief Executive Officer of the County of San Bernardino, on his retirement. Whereas Mr. Devereaux has served in state and local government for nearly 40 years, holding various administrative leadership positions, including city manager in the cities of Ontario and Fontana. He is retiring as the Chief Executive Officer for the County of San Bernardino. And whereas in January 2010, the Board of Supervisors selected Mr. Devereaux to help the board lead the county in a new direction, emphasizing fiscal responsibility and proactive solutions. He worked with the board and San Bernardino associated governments in a community-driven effort to develop a county-wide vision, which was adopted on June 30th, 2011. And whereas Mr. Devereaux is a fellow with the National Academy of Public Administration and is a member of academic advisory boards at the University of Southern California, California State University, San Bernardino, and the University of California, Riverside. He is also a visiting resident at the West Virginia University Eberly College of Arts and Sciences Division of Public Administration. He is a past president of the California Redevelopment Association. In 2009, he was appointed by the California Air Resources Board to the Regional Targets Advisory Committee on Greenhouse Gas Reduction under SB 375. And whereas in 2017, the Inland Empire Economic Partnership awarded Mr. Devereaux a Turning Red Tape into Red Carpet Award for leadership in public service. In 2015, Mr. Devereaux became the 59th recipient of the Clarence A. Dykstra Award for Excellence in Government from the Southern California chapter of the American Society for Public Administration. In 2014, Mr. Devereaux received the Southern California Association of Governments President's Award for Public Service Leader of the Year. He was also recipient of the American Society for Public Administration Inland Empire Chapter's 2008 Outstanding Senior Administrator Award, and the Building Industry Association Baldy View Chapter's 2007 Good Government Award. In 2005, he received the James S. Thalman Memorial Public Services Award from the League of California Cities, Inland Empire Division, and in 2000 was named Management Leader of the Year by the A. Gary Anderson Graduate School of Management at the University of California, Riverside. Now, therefore, be it resolved on this occasion that the City Council of the City of San Bernardino do hereby enjoin, commend, and offer our best wishes in this, your retirement, and all future Devereaux to you, Mr. Gregory C. Devereaux, for your outstanding example of leadership, professionalism, and an exemplary record of public service to both the county and city of San Bernardino and its citizens, dated this first day of May, 2017. Thank you.
First, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, members of the community of San Bernardino, thank you so very much for this honor. There has been no greater honor in my life than to be involved in public service, just as you are. It is a responsibility that none of us takes lightly. We get into public service so that we can help communities, so that we can help the quality of life within a community. One of the things that I've been talking about a lot lately to young people thinking about getting into public service is that in public service, we have the opportunity to change the arc of life in a community for the better forever. What we do and the impacts we have, they aren't just about a day or a week or a month or a year or a decade or multiple decades. We change the arc of life in those communities forever. One of my proudest periods in the county has been working with you here in San Bernardino. I want the people of this community to know how much time and effort and thought and heart you all have invested in changing that arc in San Bernardino forever. That arc was not headed in a good direction. And this group of people really came together and did something amazing. Agreed to give up power and authority for the common good. Didn't insist on having this role or that role, but gave it up for the common good. And that led to being able to get out of bankruptcy. It has led to the change in the charter that needed to occur, and the economics of this community, the finances of this government have started changing in very positive ways. Now, I know a lot of people were uncomfortable with bringing county fire in and the finances that were put in place, but that saved the city a lot of money that then could be taken and put toward public safety, toward police. So you ended up with a better fire service and better policing with that one move. So I want to thank you for allowing me to be involved in that endeavor with you for the very small part that I played in you changing that arc forever. I feel like that I have many friends here. I will continue to not only watch, but to be at your beck and call, because what you're doing here is essential and important, and I know it will lead to San Bernardino being the great city that it can be under your guidance. With that, I will just say one small thanks for the next item. December 2nd was a horrible tragedy. There is no doubt. But even in tragedy, there are many, many heroes. And thank you so much for taking the time tonight to recognize that. Thank you. God bless.
We do appreciate the efforts that you put in to helping us to achieve that new charter, so thank you. Next, we'll invite Police Chief Burguand to come forward to the podium for special recognition.
Well, good afternoon, Mayor and Council. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us today. We are here to honor two very special members of our community, and I think Mr. Devereaux gave us a perfect segue into what we're about to do and the folks that we're going to recognize. I'm sure many of you recognize some of the folks up with me today. Sheriff John McMahon from San Diego County, and also joining me up here is Steve Woolery, Special Agent in charge of counterterrorism of the FBI out of the LA Field Office. We all know the events of December 2nd of 2015 and what it did to this community and what it meant to this community. And we know the story. And a lot of the folks that have been recognized on that day, and rightfully so, was the work of many of the first responders that did phenomenal work that day. But we often talk in this business about community partnerships, and more often than not, we are only as good as the people that we police and the people that allow us to police them, and the information that they provide, and the partnerships that are defined there. As bad as December 2nd was, the threat of that day ended in 4 hours. And I've often been asked, if we didn't get them because of the information we had that quickly, do we eventually get there? And I think the answer is yes, because when we would have gone through all of the investigative steps that it would take to have identified the suspects in that case, I think eventually we get there. But we got there that quickly because of some very, very critical and some very, very timely information that came from two people in particular in our community, and that's who we're here to honor tonight. On the day of the incident itself, Ramiro Salazar is an employee of San Diego County Department of Public Health and was actually in the room when the attack took place. And Mr. Salazar, fortunately, was not physically injured that day. He was able to get out of the room, and he was the very, very first person that came into contact with a police officer that gave us the name of a potential suspect. Did it very, very quickly during the initial wave of officers coming in. And he says that he actually couldn't recognize the suspect by face because the suspects were wearing a mask. But there was something about the way that he walked and his body structure and that sort of stuff that reminded him. And he felt he had to tell an officer that. And that was the first little bit of information that we got that gave us a suspect's name that got law enforcement efforts that day working on that particular person. And then a short time into the investigation, we get some information of a black SUV that was seen fleeing. And we put that information out to the media. At about 2:45 in the afternoon, keep in mind the shooting happened at about 11 o'clock. At about 2:45 in the afternoon, we get a telephone call from a man named Stuart Bodum, who too happens to be a county employee, though he doesn't work for Department of Public Health. And Stuart calls 911, and he proceeds to tell a story that he had just gotten home and he turned on the television and he saw that the police were looking for a black SUV. And while he was driving home, he saw a black SUV that made an odd turn in front of him and turned off of Waterman onto 7th Street into Seacom Lake Park. And in something that to this day continues to give me chills, Stuart says, "I have a good memory, and I memorized the plate." And he gave our dispatchers that license plate, which he had seen the car 20 minutes, 30 minutes before, and he had memorized that plate. And trust me, the three of us have gone all over the place, and we've talked about this investigation, we've talked to law enforcement, and when we read or when we play that 911 audio of Stuart calling, room full of cops, there's usually a collective gasp because they're amazed at the ability to get that type of tip. Well, you guys know the story beyond that. The plate came back to a rent-a-car, and very, very quickly we had tracked down the suspects, and the rest is history. As I said, eventually we get to the suspects' names, but we got to them in 4 hours because of the work of Mr. Bodum and Mr. Salazar. And I think as a community, we owe them a tremendous debt of gratitude for the work that they did. I think in every sense of the word, they emulate that. If you see something, say something. And they emulate that being a partner in this process and that we are all a community. So with that said, I'm going to ask Mr. Bodum and Mr. Salazar to please join us up front here. I know that there's no way that we can really truly repay them appropriately for what they did that day, but we got each of them a plaque. The plaque has the star of the San Diego Police Department, the star of the San Diego County Sheriff's Department, and the seal of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. And it says, the San Diego Police Department, San Diego County Sheriff's Department, and the Federal Bureau of Investigation would like to honor Ramiro Salazar and Stuart Bowden for their exemplary contribution to law enforcement. On December 2nd of 2015, an attack of terrorism struck San Bernardino with the assistance of Ramiro Salazar and Stuart Bowden. The suspects involved were quickly identified, located, stopping further violence. Gentlemen, thank you very much for your service that day. Thanks, appreciate it.
Thank you, Chief. I'd also now like to invite Todd Morris to come forward. Is Todd here? City of San Bernardino, California. This is a proclamation of the Mayor and the City Council declaring this Building and Safety Month. Whereas the City of San Bernardino is committed to recognizing our growth and strength depends on the safety and economic value of the homes, buildings, and infrastructure that serve our citizens both in everyday life and in times of natural disaster. Whereas Building Safety Month is sponsored by the International Code Council to remind the public about the critical role of our community's largely unknown guardians of public safety, our local code officials, who assure us of safe, efficient, and livable buildings that are essential to keeping America great. And whereas the theme for Building Safety Month 2017 encourage all citizens to raise awareness of the importance of building safe and resilient construction, fire prevention, and disaster mitigation. Now therefore, the Mayor and City Council of the City of San Bernardino do hereby proclaim the month of May 2017 as Building and Safety Month, and we encourage our citizens to join with their communities in participation of Building Safety Month activities presented this first day of May 2017. Presenting this to Building Safety official Todd Morris. Thank you.
Pleasure. Thank you. Again, thank you, Honorable Mayor, Council, staff, and constituents of the city. It's an honor to be a part of this community. Very exciting times for us to be able to reflect back and rebuild our community. And I think from our division, from community development, it's a great aspect for us to outreach to the city and to be able to provide that service in the best means that we possibly can. Again, we want to be approachable, and we're here as public servants to help our community. And again, thank you for this honor, and look forward to continuing serving the city and in great times. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Todd. Next, I'd like to invite a representative from the Buddhist Su Chai Foundation as a special presentation for us. If you'd come forward to the podium.
Honorable Mayor Davis, City Council, City Member Marquez, thank you so much for inviting us today and giving us the opportunity to present to the Council here about Tzu Chi Foundation and what we have done here in the city of San Bernardino. Tzu Chi Foundation has been established here in the United States 28 years ago. Out of the 28 years, 22 of which we have spent the time diligently working to make the city of San Bernardino and the county of San Bernardino as if it were our own homes. Now, our name, Tzu Chi, may sound unfamiliar to many of you, and trust us, we do understand that we've been called Tai Chi and sushi as well. But we are not related to any sort of restaurants. So, Tzu Chi actually originated as a phonic translation from Mandarin Chinese, meaning compassionate relief. And that is truly our spirit in the organization. Now, we have special recognition today. Dr. Tom Rivera, who has been instrumental in facilitating Tzu Chi's presence in the city and the county of San Bernardino. Over 22 years ago, we had the opportunity to understand the many challenges that face a city of this size. And there are areas where the community members should be able to assist. Under the county and the city's leadership, we wanted to make the city better. We wanted to serve the resident of this fine city the best we can. In order to do that, we put together our very, very first initial medical outreach, a completely free medical service that is geared towards the underserved community members of this fine city. Now, that was 22 years ago. Every single year, we come back time and time and time again. And during those 22 years, we were able to serve close to 20,000 patients during those 22 years. Now, everything that we have provided is under the belief that all of us, not just Tzu Chi members, but all of us, harbor a seed of compassion, that if the call should come, that all of us would stand forward to say that I wanted to make a difference. I want to echo earlier on Mr. Devereaux's comment that we together can change the arc of life for the better and permanently. We too believe in that vision. And the City Council here, standing in front of us, also believe in that mission. And that is why you guys have made many, many sacrifices in order to serve the people. Now, during those 22 years, we have gathered many professionals from nursing, triage, dentists, medical doctors, specialists, and even Chinese herbal, acupuncture medicines to be able to serve this city and its residents. Beyond that, we also bring in and facilitated education, moral education. We believe that all of us are good in spirit, are good in morality, and it just need a little bit of guidance. So we have worked with various elementary schools to be able to facilitate that moral education, to tell the young kids while they are growing up that they actually can grow up to be pillars of this community. Now, 22 years, fast forward to today. The challenges facing the county and also the city has been greater than ever. And we, as an organization, globally 10 million strong, globally established 51 years ago, we wanted to participate. We wanted to be part of your vision, part of your action to make this city the best that it can be. Now, about sometime last year, in the middle of last year, we heard a heart-wrenching story about an elementary school student who, during the weekends, have no means of sustenance, that had to come back to the school cafeteria and snuck in and took food in order to sustain themselves. This story is well known within the city's Unified School District. Dr. Marston himself told us that he is well aware of this story. When we heard that story while we were doing free medical outreach, the volunteer that you see in the blue and white in front of you, we were devastated. We could not stand by knowingly that there is such a need for assistance within our own neighborhoods. So we had to act. We spent a good 7 months thinking, plotting, designing activities, programs that we might be able to help the fine people of the city of San Bernardino the best we can. We have facilitated, designed, scrapped, redesigned again, multiple programs. At the end, we believe a mobile food pantry program will best serve the community members who are in such a disadvantaged state that the students aren't able to focus on schoolwork. So we visited Dr. Marston at the San Bernardino City Unified School District. Dr. Marston has been tremendous in providing his help. Once he has heard of what we wanted to do, he himself called in his staff and made everybody aware of this program and instructed his staff to give us full support. With his support and also with mayors and the city support, we plan to bring this program into the city and expand it wherever needs arise. Now, the pilot has already started late last year. This year, now being May, we have continued to operate this program in the city of San Bernardino ever since November of last year. Now, during the pilot phase, we learned a lot. We work with the USD, the school district, about specific locations where the need is most grave. And that is why, supporting us today, we have 2 school principals, Dr. Kay from Indian Spring High School, and also Principal Ramon from Jones Elementary. They are here to stand testimony in supporting us, to let the council, to let the people know that we can indeed make a difference. Every time that we go out, we are able to provide nearly a week's worth of groceries for up to 500 families. That is every single time that we activate, we have that capacity. We have, in terms of material goods, in terms of transportation, we have additional capacities to serve this fine city. However, and that is one of the main reasons that I'm here today, many of our volunteer resources are activated from the County of Los Angeles. Within the county and the city of San Bernardino, we have very few volunteers locally here. We wanted to bring this service to as many people in need as possible. That is our mission. That is our vision. That is who we are. That is in line with what the City Council wants to see achieved. However, we lack the people, the volunteers, the actual volunteers to help us accomplish the goals. If you take a look, excuse me, let me. Is it possible to help me play this video by clicking on the center black area? The black area to the left. No, right in the middle of the screen is fine. No, to the black area. Sorry, right there. There you go. I would like to show this short video on what we do here. During the 22 years where we provided free medical service to the residents of the city, we discovered that over time that majority of the issues that we see are chronic, whether it is diabetes, whether it is heart disease, whether it is high blood pressure, whether it is obesity. That got us to thinking in developing this program. What if we can make a difference during the early phases of a child's life to be able to provide proper nutrition in terms of fresh fruits and vegetables as an emphasis, so that the kids can learn to eat right while they were young. As they step into adulthood, then we are hoping that we would not be seeing the recurrence of these chronic issues quite as often. So this particular program, the Mobile Food Pantry program, actually dovetails with our free medical services that we have provided here for the past 22 years. Now, our mobile food pantry program is very, very different from the typical food pantry that you might be aware of, in that we have made a promise to ourselves. Every single distribution that we make to the city of San Bernardino and beyond, it must include at least half of the food to be fresh produce and vegetables. That, we believe, will eventually make a difference in the health of the kids and of the family going forward. In order to accomplish that, we needed local support. We needed people who are in the fresh produce and vegetable business to be able to help us out. And that is why also in the audience we have Gary from Lucky Farms within the city of San Bernardino, who has so compassionately provided and supplied a very, very large quantities, continue to supply large quantities of fresh produce and vegetables. So, Honorable Mayor and City Council members, I stand here before you because we, the organization, wanted to do more for the city. However, it is fairly difficult to activate hundreds of volunteer resources from a different county to come over here. I am asking for assistance in this area, whether we might be able to call on more heroes within the city to step forward and help us prepare the groceries, prepare the food, prepare the transportation, so that we can actually deliver the services far more frequently than we are able to do today. That is why I'm here. Now, finally, I would like to tell you a little bit about our foundation. The foundation started in 1966 in Taiwan. It is founded by a Dharma master named Chen Yan from the Buddhist creed. Her compassion transcends all of us. She tells us, and you might wonder, why is it that we are doing this? She tells us that every unfortunate and disadvantaged person that you see, they are your fathers, they are your mothers, they are your brothers and sisters, they are your friends, and they are your neighbors. As a matter of fact, they are no different from any one of you, any one of us. They might be down on their luck and needed a helping hand. And we are fortunate enough to be at the right place at the right time to lend a helping hand. And that spirit, that belief, has facilitated over 10 million members worldwide to donate pennies in terms of US dollars, pennies on a daily basis, to come together and be able to produce these large programs. We're talking about medical, very organized medical outreach services for 22 years. So we are able to do this because there are many people in the community who feels the same way. There are many people in the community looking to this council for leadership, understanding the sacrifices that you have made, and we stand here to say we want to be part of that. We want to make the city the best it can be. So once again, thank you so much. Together, we can make the city great. Thank you.
Councilman Valdivia.
Mr. Tsai, don't go too far. I had certainly want to commend your efforts for our community and your efforts here. I was able to visit the international headquarters in mid-November and was so excited to see the fabulous work of the Master Chang and what she has done. But in my trip to Taiwan in mid-November of 2016, I was fascinated at the worldwide work that you guys are doing and just equally impressed. So I want to say thank you. You've done a lot of work in my ward down in Lido Creek Elementary School, and so we're just excited.
Sir, that's one of the first places that we were, yes.
But, I mean, it goes far beyond a district or a ward. It goes throughout the city, and I certainly commend and appreciate your work. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the presentation.
Thank you, Mayor Davis.
Councilmember Marquez.
I, too, want to give you special thanks to your organization, your foundation, and the many partners that are here. We are a city in need, and you are just wonderful to work with. I know that in the first ward you have impacted students at Indian Springs High School. Dr. Kay is here, as well as Juanita Blakely. Mr. Ramon Velasco, thank you for allowing us to be your partner, and this is just the beginning.
And I want to thank you, Councilmember Marquez. Without your support, we wouldn't be standing here today.
Always.
Thank you, ma'am.
Everything.
Thank you. Thank you again. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Our next presentation will be by, let's see, Jim Ebley. Come forward. San Bernardino Valley College Neighborhood Association presentation.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Mayor and Common Council, for letting me speak. I don't have a wonderful PowerPoint like Mr. Tsai has, but I just want a few minutes of your time. We tried that, and it kind of dragged on. I think all of you know me on the council, and you know of the Neighborhood Association and what it's all about. I just have 3 points. First of all, I'll tell you a little bit about Valley College Neighborhood Association. It was established about 20 years ago. I got involved. Someone put a flyer on my front steps. I didn't know my neighbors. I didn't know anyone except for my then girlfriend and now wife, Diane, in the corner house on Bunker Hill Drive. So I decided, hey, you know what? I'm going to go meet some people. That's how I got involved and got to know my neighbors, got to know what's going on in the city, who these people are, okay, and, you know, just what the neighborhood was all about. Then I started learning about, okay, well, what do you guys do? Well, we work with city government at the police department, at the code enforcement level, to keep our cities from just turning to, to fight blight was the common goal of the Neighborhood Association. That's how we started. And now we work with different city departments, different city officials. When we have a problem, we go to them. And we also go to them for information. More than you get out of the paper, more than you get, from hearsay. But the best source to find out what's going on in your city and in your neighborhood are these people right here. They have their finger on the pulse of the city. They know what's going on. And I wanted to be informed. Well, that's how I got involved. Valley College, the area, is bordered by Mount Vernon. We're the neighborhood just east of the campus. The athletic field borders us on K Street. We have probably close to 200, if not more, homes in that little area. It's Mount Vernon, Mill Street, the I Street, the Inland Center, and what am I missing, John? I Street, the Inland Center. I think that covers it. But recently, we have gotten involved. We used to meet at Urbita Elementary School, and we got involved with the PR and marketing director, Paul, on campus at Valley College, and now he's given us a room right on the campus, a nice, comfortable classroom called The Huddle, right off K Street, right next to the Children's Center, and it's very comfortable, very nice. We had our first meeting there last month, and it was just a wonderful experience. But on top of that, we invited the student government to come to our meeting. It's something we have never done, and our group is a solid group of about 15 to 20 residents. Out of 200 homes, that's not very much, but we've been around for long enough, and we've been a core group together for a while. Well, we're all older people. We're not young anymore. We've been there for many years, and to have that young, fresh personalities and people come and be interested in us was quite a blessing. So we're looking forward to start working with the student government and our neighborhood association to do different things in the community on campus. And our first step was meeting there on campus. So that's a little bit about the neighborhood association, Valley College Neighborhood Association. The second thing I'd like to cover is our councilman, John Valdivia. We're in the 3rd Ward, and without his help, without him being involved and coming to all of our meetings, we might have folded. He brings us information, he brings us speakers, he's very involved. And this is what we're all about, is being involved with government officials to help the city, to help make the city look good. But not only that, to show that we care. We are residents here, longtime residents. I bought my first house here, ever, and I'm still there. We care about what the city looks like, what's going on, and we suffered through everything that they suffered through. And we're on the mend, and we're coming back, and I think that's just wonderful. But we like to help, and that's what we're here to do, to get more involved and to get more publicly noticed, because we need people, just like Mr. Sy. I'm sorry. Not good with names. Anyway, we need people also to help Mr. Sy, to get involved with him. I would love to do a project with you guys. That's what we're all about, is getting involved in the community. But we need people. Out of 62 associations, we only have 19 that are active to this moment. Some of them are bigger than others, but there's so many people that just don't understand, hey, you know what, you live here. You need to take some pride in here. Hey, I'll take the first step and I'll come and I'll say, hey, what is this all about? Just come inquire. We meet every Saturday of the month, our president's meeting. You're always welcome. And we would really appreciate it if you knew anyone that would like to get involved. And that's why we go to our esteemed council. If you need or you know someone that you know, other than a commissioner spot, that would like to head up or restart a neighborhood association, please, by all means, get in touch with us. Now, how to get in touch with us? We have a Facebook page. It's called Neighborhood Association Council of San Bernardino. You can easily, everybody's on Facebook. Go to Facebook, that'll pop up. Information on the different associations as well as phone numbers that you can contact people to get involved. Also, we work with Monica Lagos through the city and the mayor. You can go on the city's website now also, and you can find us on the city's website. So there's a couple of easy ways to find and get involved in the neighborhood associations. Now, lastly, I would like to say that we've done some reorganizing with our board. The last 4 years, we've started to keep records a lot better than they did in the past. And through the councilman, John Valdivia, and Henry Nichols, we're going to send 5 delegates to, it's called Neighborhood USA. Am I right? There we go. Okay. I'm a little nervous. So. Anyway, in Omaha, Nebraska, at the end of this month. And it is the entire United States meeting for neighborhood associations, just like ours. So we're going to go to workshops there and bring back information, try and report, give you another report on this, as well as I would really like to put something together with the student government at Valley College and have them come back, because they're always working on, it's from all of the clubs they have on campus to cleanups in the community, and they really want to get involved as well. So please come and visit the website and just get involved in the city. Make the city that arc that Mr. Devereaux was talking about. That's all in the same picture. So please come and join us. I thank all of you for the time, short amount of time we're here. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ebley. Next, we'll invite Jamie Rios come forward, and Councilmember Marquez.
Thank you, Mayor. At this time, I'd like to call my colleague, Councilmember Barrios, to join me. Good afternoon. As you can see, royalty is in the house. I had the honor of having been selected to be one of the judges for the Mr. Cardinal and his court 2017-2018 on April 8th at the Sturgis Center. We started out with 14 incredible young men, and at the end of the day, we had 4 incredible young men. They were judged for sportswear competition, formal wear competition, and my favorite, on-stage question competition. But prior to my going into my remarks, I'd like to recognize and acknowledge Jamie Rios. Jamie will be honored by the League of Women Voters as Citizen of Achievement 2017 for his work at Cardinal City. He also works with Miss Cardinal. I got to tell you, he's a slave driver. He really gets the young men and the young women in shape. He is a role model, and because of him, we have some very, very talented, very smart, overambitious young men today, and they're going places. I'd like to present 2 of them, and then I'll hand it over to my colleague, Councilmember Barrios. There's a new category that was created this year, and it's called Mr. Cardinal Ambassador, and that position goes to Nathan Hunter, and I'd like to read a brief bio. Let's give him a round of applause. He's a bit shy. Nathan Hunter, our pristine 2017-2018 Mr. Cardinal Ambassador, is part of the varsity basketball team and co-chairman of the chemistry club at Cal State San Bernardino. He would like to attend Cal Poly Pomona or Cal Poly San Luis Obispo and major in petroleum engineering or electrical engineering. He is in AP honors and college concurrent enrollment classes. Nathan currently has a whopping 4.41 GPA and aspires to reach his predecessor's greatness as a second ambassador to the Mr. Cardinal program. Wow, that's pretty incredible. Nathan, can you come up, please?
Thank you.
You are welcome. I also have the honor of introducing to you 2017-2018 Mr. Cardinal second runner-up, and you will meet his twin soon. Jason Mendoza is interested in attending California State University Fullerton and major in business. He is also involved in the theater department and the aquatics program. Jason currently has an above 3.8 academic GPA. Let's give Jason a round of applause.
I'd like to thank the City of San Bernardino and the City Council for welcoming us, and I'd like to inform you guys that we are ready to work for our community and make it a better place. Thank you.
Councilmember Barrios, I believe you'll be presenting the first runner-up, and of course, Mr. Cardinal himself.
Thank you very much, Councilmember Marquez. Now, before I do get started, I want to take a moment to recognize Jamie Rios and his program that he has, because the one thing that it instills in these students is confidence, and I've seen that. And that's a very, very, very priceless virtue that, some people throughout their whole entire lives never achieve. And in this community, these kids are gaining that confidence to go out and dream bigger, do bigger things, and be assets to our community. So I want to thank you, Jamie, again for your program. Now, it's my honor to be able to announce our first runner-up to Mr. Cardinal 2017-2018. And this young man is a flamboyant young man that enjoys helping others in need with a negative smile, I guess. I've never seen that smile. And he's involved in various extracurricular activities such as the Tyro Times, a newspaper club, marching band, of which he has been playing the flute for 4 years, and aspires to become a drum major next month. He plans on attending the University of California at Santa Barbara, and he currently holds a GPA of 4.33. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Mr. Cardinal, first runner-up, Javier Molina.
I'd like to thank the city and the board for continuing to support the Mr. Cardinal Ambassador Program. We wouldn't have been able to do this without you. Thank you.
And now the young man who has achieved the accomplishment of becoming Mr. Cardinal for 2017-2018. This young man is a self-motivated student holding a GPA of 4.14. He's highly interested in attending UC Santa Cruz to major in the theatrical arts, focusing on the technical side of his major. Currently, he's involved in San Bernardino High School's theater department and the International Thespian Society troupe. Please put your hands together for Mr. Cardinal 2017-2018, Mr. Justin Mendoza.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'd really like to appreciate the city and our city council for giving us opportunities and allowing us to be more involved in the community. And without you guys, we wouldn't be here. And everyone, round of applause for them.
And again, Mayor, I want to thank you and your council for allowing us to be part of your city. Unfortunately, 2 days after a beautiful celebration, we experienced something very devastating in the San Bernardino City Unified School District. So it was a bittersweet. We're celebrating, but then again, we were broken heart with the tragedy that went on 2 days after our event. So we need to stay together. We need to unite together. And the beauty of all of this is that I got enormous calls from people outside the city of San Bernardino because they care about what we do in San Bernardino, and now they want to help us grow and be better. They want to help with North Park Elementary School, what happened there. So that is a great partnership with other cities to come back and give back to our community. So I want to thank the City Council, the Mayor, for allowing us to be part of this beautiful city. Thank you.
Councilmember Charette?
Yes, just before you leave, I just want to reiterate that I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I'm the only one at the dais here that's a former Cardinal. And so I want to... You too? Oh, well, good. Okay, I said I wasn't sure. So we congratulate you as former Cardinals. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Marquez and Councilmember Barrios.
Sorry, Basine. I didn't realize that.
Is there a representative from the chamber to give the updates? If not, we will ask Cameron Griffin from Mark Steinorth's office to come forward with announcements.
Hello, Mayor, City Council. My name is Cameron Griffin. I represent Assemblyman Mark Steinorth, for those who don't know. I just wanted to present that on May 20th, the Assemblyman will be holding a community coffee for San Bernardino and the City of Highland. The San Bernardino one will be held at DJ Coffee Shop at 265 East 40th Street on May 20th at 8:30 in the morning. It will run to about 9:30, 10. And then the one in Highland will also be on May 20th at 10:30 to about 11:30, 12 at Jack's Cafe at 28924 Green Spot Road in Highland. To RSVP, you can call the number 909-476-5023. And if you just decide you want to go that morning, just show up. We're not going to kick you out. All right. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Appreciate that update. That concludes our presentations. We will now move into our consent calendar. We have two speakers. First speaker is Deanna Adams.
This is on item 19, the Department of Housing and Urban Development. Community Development Block Grant has been a bread and butter funding source for local communities for 42 years, totaling more than $150 billion in grants over its history. The program is not well targeted to the poorest population and has not demonstrated results. Unlike private enterprise, government is vested with the responsibility of protecting the health, safety, and welfare of its citizens. San Bernardino failed to invest health, safety, and welfare of its citizens in disadvantaged areas, causing hundreds and hundreds of boarded up, locked up, chained up, and burned down buildings, blighting us evermore. Citizens exhausted with the stresses imposing, causing scores of homelessness, punks, pimps, prostitutes, and pot shops. Pot shops mushroom, adding additional blight, causing detrimental health and great adverse impact on a psychological level. The city received community development block money to assist various needs and prioritized an essential to secure health, safety, and welfare of disadvantaged neighborhoods. I have witnessed an environmental injustice in areas desired to be seized and raised. The city blatantly blind-eyed those areas suited for community development block grant. And listening very carefully to Ben Carson of HUD, the Community Development Block Grant considered history, so do not depend on it in 2018. It will be considered history soon because municipalities have abused the funds and not demonstrated result. And adding to President Trump's view of Community Development Block Grant and statutory status, San Bernardino has high potential for conflict since the poor without aid spiral into desperation. This is a very sad time under the Trump administration for the poor and cities as San Bernardino, depending on Community Development Block Grant and federal government funding. San Bernardino poor represents the largest population and created favorable by the city receiving money having no result. The Community Development Block Grant money for 2017 and 2018 would do well to serve disadvantaged neighborhood, restoring and beautifying neighborhoods. This city blatantly has disrespected and purposefully, by design, destroyed our disadvantaged neighborhoods even more. So, please do it correctly, and to correct this moral application, the city would do well to be a good steward and change their bad behavior and to use the privilege from the federal government for and use the Community Development Block Grant for the benefit for the people. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Carmel Rowe.
Yay me. Hi. I haven't seen you guys for a while, but I had to come and let you guys know that Item number 19, I don't appreciate not knowing anything about the HUD funds since Brandon Mims has been gone. I don't appreciate not having any meetings of the Community Development Advisory Committee. And I don't appreciate the 40 to 90 years that the $7.5 million and then some has been pilfered and plundered and not used properly. It has not been used for the community as it should. It has not been used for Fifth Street or H Street or G Street or 2nd Street or Arrowhead or Baseline or E Street. It has not been used in the block in which it should be. These are to take care of poor, blighted, deteriorating neighborhoods. This is to help people with low-income grants so that they can maybe fix the roofs in their property to retain home ownership instead of slumlord ownership. And to have you guys going to go ahead with a plan or maybe possibly take a plan that nobody even got the committee together, it's just shameful. It's shameful. I mean, we had a $7 million finding, and then thank God for Brandon Mims who got it down to $2 million. Okay, we have been caught with our hand in the cookie jar on these HUD funds, and we have already been smacked by HUD. Just to let you guys know, I personally sent Donald Trump a letter and asked him to drain the swamp here and to start cutting our CDBG funds first and foremost, because they are not going to the poor. They are not going to the homeless. They are not going where they are supposed to. They are going in people's pockets. They are going on funding half developments like the Home Depot that never made it over there on Highland Avenue. They're going to pay for Section 108 loans to pay for the theater that we don't even get reimbursed because we don't even keep track of the sales tax that comes from the theater. Shame. Shame on this city, because our CDBG block fund grants, they could take care of the problems in this city. They could have saved the fire department. They can take care of every single problem in this city if used properly, and we wouldn't even have to touch the general fund. Now, I'm going to say that me and Sandra Ibarra, after the last time I was up here talking, we had a little meeting with Councilman Valdivia. Councilman Valdivia did not like what we had to say. Therefore, he told us, oh, well, we won't be meeting anymore. And guess what? We haven't. And then guess what? You guys pulled the public funds from all the nonprofits right after that. Now, I'd have to tell you guys that everything about that statement was wrong. He also told me that the guidelines that we went by were obsolete and that there was a council meeting where they were put to be obsolete. Too bad I looked up every single meeting that he was a councilman, and I never yet found that to be. So there's not truthfulness going around. These funds are used to pilfer and profit the powers that be, but not for the community that it is meant to serve. It is meant to serve the low income. It is meant to serve the minority. It is meant to serve students like Juanita B. Jones, who have over 150 children that go hungry every day. It is meant to get prostitutes off the street. It is meant to put street lights in those areas. And we all, I named the blocks. I mean, if you guys are councilmen and women, you should know the blocks and you should know the city, but I wonder how many of you drive around the city and get out of your car. I wonder how many of you get out on G&H. I wonder how many of you check out the Leisure Hotel that's now Motel 6. I wonder how many of you go down between D and Arrowhead. I mean, I've never seen you. How many of you guys hang out over at Smart and Final? I don't see anybody out there, and there's real problems. And if we have $7.5 million, no less, that's only in one account. We have home and ESG funds. If we have $7.5 million, $7.5 million could go a long way. $1 million of that could buy a building and get every homeless person off the street. So I'm confused. I'm confused how we have an able-bodied, smart, intelligent, papered individuals that don't care enough or don't know enough to even investigate these CDBG block grants instead of letting the city manager's office run out of control. Okay, because now they're in it, or these consultants run out of control. I mean, this is something that really needs to be looked at. Now, I have sent Donald Trump a letter. I have sent Ben Carson a letter, and I'm going to continue because since I have been on the advisory committee, I have gotten a lot of information, and I can actually point the finger, and I can actually say who did what and where it went and how it was mismanaged. And being that we haven't even had any meetings this year, and we're talking about this, that's a problem. It's a law that we need to have 2 meetings. We haven't had 2 meetings. Okay, and you think because you don't fund the nonprofits, now we don't have to have meetings? You guys better go read the HUD rules for this money. I mean, I have a book. I was given a book. It's 300-400 pages. I read it all. Maybe you guys should start there. Thanks.
We have an item to pull from the consent calendar. Is that correct, City Attorney?
Yes, Mayor, that is correct. On item number 9, those are approval of minutes for the dates of April 3rd and April 17th. We need to pull the minutes of April 17th and continue those minutes until the next council meeting.
Continue. You don't want to pull it, you want to move it to continue?
I want to continue it. It's the 17th, yes. I want to continue that portion. April 3rd can go forward, but we want to pull, we want to continue April 17th to the next council meeting.
Okay, so that's my motion.
And second. All right, so it's the minutes of April the 17th.
To be continued.
All right, that will not be included in the consent calendar.
Or you can, I would ask that they amend the motion to approve the minutes of April 3rd and continue the minutes of April 17th, and then you...
That's my motion.
Okay.
Thank you.
Please cast your votes.
One item, yep.
The motion to approve the minutes for April 3rd and continue the minutes for April 17th was made by Mr. Charette. It was seconded by Mr. Mulvihill, and it passed unanimously.
Thank you. Item 14 will also be pulled from the consent calendar to be treated as a public hearing. Is that correct, City Manager? So the items that we're approving then for consent calendar are items 8 through 13, excluding 14, and through item 18. Is that correct? Any other polls? Excuse me. Councilmember Marquez?
None today, Your Honor.
Councilmember Barrios?
None, sir.
Councilmember Valdivia?
None today, sir. Thank you.
Councilman Schritt?
I had one item, just a quick question on item 17.
Item 17. Councilmember Richard?
None today, sir.
Councilmember Mulvihill?
None, Your Honor.
Move for approval.
All right, we have a motion. Do we have a second? I heard a motion. I didn't hear a second. Somebody want to
be
make a
second.
I heard the motion made by...
All right. We have a motion and a second?
Yeah.
I made the motion.
I can be second.
I pushed the second button because the motion had already been pushed.
Did a good job.
So the
Thank you.
motion to approve the remainder of the consent calendar was made by Mr. Charette. It was seconded by Mr. Mulvihill, and it passed. Are you voting? 7-0. You actually moved it? I'm sorry. Mr. Valdivia made the motion. It was seconded by Mr. Charette, and it passed 7-0.
Very good. Thank you. Item number 17. This is a recommendation to adopt a resolution of the Mayor and City Council of the City of San Bernardino, California, approving the destruction of certain obsolete records by the San Bernardino Police Department. Councilmember Nickel?
Yeah, a question was posed to me in the agenda item on page 220. Last paragraph, Mayor and Common Council adopted a resolution in March of 2016, which approved the destruction of certain obsolete records dated prior to January 1st, 2011. It appears in this resolution that we are approving the destruction of records up to January 1st, 2015, a little over 2 years ago. And the question was posed to me, first off, the timeline. I assume that we're within reasonable time period for the destruction of records, even
Yes.
being a little over 2 years old?
Yeah, depending on the type of records, the government code sets a timeline for what you can destroy when, and I've reviewed what they're destroying, and they're all within those government code sections.
Okay, and then the other question posed to me was that because the city has been in bankruptcy since 2013, is there any issue with any of these records that may pertain to any potential litigation that may move forward once we are out of bankruptcy?
No, in fact, we work very closely with professional standards, and we let them know which cases they need to keep the documents on, so none of those are included in these.
Okay, I'll move to approve.
Second.
Thank you. We have motion and second. Please cast your votes.
On item number 17, the destruction of obsolete records, the motion to approve was made by Mr. Nichol, the second by Mr. Charette, and it passed 7-0.
Thank you. We'll now open the public hearing for items number 14 and 19. Item number 14 is to accept for final reading and adopt an ordinance of the Mayor and City Council of the City of San Bernardino, California, approving the Rancho Palma Specific Plan, General Plan 16-01, Development Code Amendment 16-01, and adopt resolution approving subdivision 16-02, tentative parcel map 19701, and subdivision 16-03, tentative parcel map 20006. Councilman Nichol.
I would simply like to move that we close the hearing.
Second.
Do we have anybody that wants to speak on this from the public? Seeing none, we have a motion to close the hearing. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please cast your votes.
On item 14, the public hearing regarding the Rancho Palma Specific Plan, the motion was made by Mr. Nichol, the second by Mr. Valdivia, and it passed 7-0.
Thank you. Next item is item 19. Let's open the public hearing, begin testimony, and continue the public hearing to May 15th, 2017.
We're continuing.
Continue.
I'll move that.
Thank you.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second. No further discussion. Please cast your votes. Anyone here to speak on item 19?
Just for clarification, is that, so what we've done is we've opened it, we've continued it to that date, and then it'll be opened at that time. We won't have to reopen it.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
On item 19, the motion was to open the public hearing, take any testimony, and continue it to May 15th. The motion was made by Mr. Charette. It was seconded by Ms. Marquez, and it passed 7-0.
Thank you. Next is item number 20. It's a recommendation to adopt a resolution of the Mayor and City Council of the City of San Bernardino approving the exclusive right to negotiate agreement between the City of San Bernardino and Mark Development with respect to an approximately 17.43-acre vacant property located at the southwest corner of East Highland and Arden Avenue, San Bernardino, and approving certain related actions.
Mayor, members of the council, this is an item that came before you in closed session at your last meeting. This is a exclusive right to negotiate with Mark Development. As the council is aware, the successor agency owns various properties throughout the city. We're in the process of selling or disposing of those assets. There are some assets, though, that we have been allowed to retain for future development purposes. This is one of those sites. As you're aware, Mark Development has been working for a number of years on this, and because of the change in redevelopment laws, this process has continued for an extended time period. We're here this evening to recommend that the council enter into this exclusive right to negotiate time period with Mark Development, subject to the conditions that the council wanted us to place on that agreement. Specifically, they had requested a one-year exclusive period. The council directed that we negotiate a 6-month period of time. You also requested that they explore other opportunities with respect to the use of the property, and that you wanted to ensure the city's costs were covered during this time period, because there will be associated studies and things of that nature. The developer is agreeable to that. You have before you, it was distributed this evening. I apologize, it was not in your packet, but it is at your seat at the dais. The actual document, it was developed by Tom Clark, Special Counsel, Don DeMichelle, and Jelena Greider from the City Attorney's Office. We do have the developer's representative here. Thank you.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Question? Councilmember Valdivia?
Ms. Miller, the agreement, does it reflect a 6-month or a 1-year agreement?
It reflects a 6-month period of time. We did, initially the developer had requested a 1-year time period, but following the council's direction to us, we did talk to them. They were agreeable to a 6-month period of time.
I'm reading page number 3 of the agreement that we just received on our dais. The exclusive, Section 4, exclusive agreement to negotiate required actions. Our items number 1 and 2, I guess they're not, help me understand this here, they're not the same thing because they're different dates.
They are different things. The first one, item 1, they are required to submit a feasibility study identifying potential uses of the property. Remember, the council wanted them to explore things other than just retail uses.
Okay, right.
So that's the first one. And then they would thereafter be responsible for developing preliminary development concept packages consisting of, and there are several items there, that would be due on a later date.
So where does it reflect, that's not 6 months though, so I'm confused here. Where does it, in the agreement, does it suggest 6 months?
I believe on page 4.
Yes, page 4.
Okay.
Item 3.
All right.
Yes.
Okay, November 1 of 2017, so that, okay, very good, thank you.
Any further questions? Not. We have a motion and a second. Please cast your votes.
On item 20, the motion was made by Mr. Charette. It was seconded by Mr. Mulvihill, and it passed 7-0.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is item 21. Item 21 is a report by Councilmember Nickel.
Yes.
State the Mayor and City Council on the International Security West 2017 Conference and Expo attended by Councilmember Nickel.
Yes, this is an annual conference that takes place in Las Vegas. It is an opportunity for the security industry to showcase the state of the art in various security-related technologies. Certainly given the conditions of our city, I thought it would be appropriate to get a sense of what the technology state of the art is currently. One of the major featured themes this year was autonomous UAVs, otherwise known as drones, and the fact that these aerial vehicles now are being deployed at a much higher rate than we saw just a few years ago. Public safety, law enforcement entities are beginning to use these aerial vehicles for surveillance in increasing numbers. And more these vehicles are able to operate autonomously. And this year it was quite revealing to see the number of different companies and entities that have really developed this technology to the point where I think within a few years this will be more or less ubiquitous. And I think it is something that we need to be in tune to. Certainly there are pros and cons to any type of technology of this sort, but I think it certainly has the opportunity and the ability potentially to provide for at least some deterrent type of effect in particular areas of our city where we see relatively higher crime rates, as well as for investigation, forensic type purposes. So needless to say, it was a very good conference. I'll be interested. I do try and attend every year if possible. I like to just go to the expo and see all the toys and gadgets. In addition, there was quite an emphasis on what we call wireless mesh technologies. Increasingly, cities are going to what we call smart cities that create these wireless mesh grids that allow us to integrate various types of services, not just surveillance, but also potentially healthcare type technologies and monitoring services, as well as education and so forth. There were several vendors there that had some very interesting products, one that actually attaches to the top of a standard Cobra head a street light that replaces the sensor at the top and can actually provide for networking as well as surveillance cameras. So it's a very simple way to, in a very rapid fashion, deploy a very large-scale network of either or both cameras and wireless mesh-type technology at a very reasonable cost. So needless to say, it was, I think, a very productive opportunity to spend a day and sort of geek out, I guess you would say, and get to see all these gadgets and gizmos that are probably going to be a mainstay of our lives at some point in the near future. So that's all I have to report. Thank you.
Thank you for that report. Concludes our agendized items. We will now go to public comments. Carmel Rowe. Jim Smith.
Yes, City Council, worthy Mayor, City Attorney, City Manager, always a pleasure to speak to this august group, our new leaders under our new charter, which is Wurgal Soa. These council meetings are just moving along so well. I wanted to mention a couple activities that have happened. One has happened last Saturday. Tremendous over 200 individuals here in the city of San Bernardino under the Service Council. Been meeting for over a year, headed by Margaret Hill. Reverend George Hahn was leading it up, and he unfortunately passed away, so Margaret served as our president. And I wanted to enumerate some of the clubs, organizations that helped tremendously in cleaning up the historical part of Pioneer Cemetery and also of Second Lake. Just to read off quickly, Cal State San Bernardino, the Rotary Clubs of San Bernardino, the Mormon Church, tremendous participation. We appreciate that very much. The Women's Club of San Bernardino, Salvation Army, and many, many youth groups here in the city of San Bernardino. And it's interesting. In fact, I need to tell you a story about your great IT guy by the name of Mitch. He's a member of the Rotary Club, and he actually unearthed 12 markers that were actually grown over by grass. So we actually discovered 12 more markers in the historical part here in the wonderful city of San Bernardino. So I think those groups certainly deserve our appreciation, and I know that the mayor came out and councilperson Marcus was there, and I'm sure other of you supported that, and I want to thank you very much. It was certainly a red letter day for the city of San Bernardino. A week from tomorrow, the Native Sons of the Golden West are going to be presenting a historic marker similar to the one at St. Bernardino's Church, the Arrowhead marker, to San Bernardino Valley College. San Bernardino Valley College has been in San Bernardino for over 90 years, and many of you attended Valley College. We are recognizing them on their 90th anniversary. It's open to the public. I hope some of the council people, the mayor, if you're available, could be there. It's at 12:30 by the auditorium at San Bernardino Valley College. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that update. Appreciate that. Robert Porter?
City Manager, Council, Mayor, good people. We had a great event, art night. I didn't make it to the actual art night, but the art day afterwards was great for a photographer. I got to take a picture of every single entry, posted them all up. I was impressed with the amount of art that was submitted, and I think the people who organized it did an excellent job. Give them props for that. Good to hear that you all made an effort to attend town hall meeting, Generation Now. Incredible. I'd like that all of you showed up, and so many of you showed up that the city attorney had to give a Brown Act talk, so that was very cool. So it's important for us to all get involved, our elected officials, our people, and even investment groups that are taking a look at San Bernardino from the outside. Now, Moody's investment report was kind of shrugged off in the paper. I don't know if you actually shrugged, Mr. City Manager, or if you know, whatever you did. Let's not shrug. We've already gone through, the gears are turning on this bankruptcy. Now, they're suggesting there's a possibility that we could be heading into it again. Now, that's not a good suggestion, right? That's a bit scary for me to think about. Now, it may not happen, right, Mr. City Manager, you said, but there's no reason why we still can't look at what their analysis and say, hey, wait a second, well, maybe here, and here, we need to do more. And CalPERS is 100% whole, and they realize that. And there's people on the dais that receive benefits from CalPERS. So now that they are 100% whole, let's maybe make an effort to try to please some of our other investors that weren't made whole. Because if we want people to invest in San Bernardino, they have to get something for it. When you promote for somebody, they want value. When you invest in San Bernardino, they're going to want value. So don't just shrug off the Moody's report. Let's take it seriously, and maybe not, word for word, but take a look at what they're talking about, and let's try to fix it for the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have any items to be referred to council committees? Councilman Barrios?
Not sure which committee it would go to, but really, at our next meeting, I would like to see if we can bring forward the discussion of the $350,000 that have been allocated since last year for veteran housing. They have not moved, and we have not discussed anything of where they can go to. I know U.S. Vets, we had spoken to them, and just want to have open discussion on what we want to do with those funds so they don't just sit and do nothing.
In fact, the next meeting, we will be dealing with the HUD plan, and that's the perfect time to talk about it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. No others? We'll now go to council announcements. Councilmember Mulvihill.
Thank you, Your Honor. First off, on Wednesday, the 3rd, the Community Builders Organization will have its regular monthly meeting, first Wednesday evening of the month, at the First Congregation United Church of Christ on Sierra Way, just north of 30th Street. It's not noted on our information here, but again, it's a regular meeting, and someone from the police department will be there. I'm not quite sure if Sherlock will be there, but the speaker that evening will be someone from the police department. Again, that's Wednesday night, beginning at 6:30. Also, the First Congregation United Church of Christ is having its having its 150th anniversary of the founding of the congregation in 1867. We honored Reverend Pedro Mala Sternberg here about a month ago regarding their 150th anniversary. But in addition to that, it's this weekend is also their 50th anniversary of their rummage sale, and so beginning this Friday, May 5th, from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., and again on Saturday, May 6th, from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. On the church premises, there will be a rummage sale, and it's huge, really huge. The Haskell Hall, which is a fairly formidable room, is completely filled with all kinds of items. It spills over into the open patio area and another their preschool area as well. And so if you're into rummaging, and this particular example of it is one of the best in the area. Again, this weekend, Friday, May 5th, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., and Saturday, May 6th, 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. More information, you can contact the church offices at 909-886-4911, or you can email office@sbucc.org. And I think I have one other thing here. And I guess, that was the other portion of the rummage sale. But also, this coming Sunday, May 7th, the League of Women Voters of San Bernardino will be hosting their Citizens of Achievement 2017 at the Elks Lodge from 2 p.m. until 5 p.m. Admission is $10, RSVP at 909-425-0111. And I know one of the honorees is Jamie Rios, who was very prominent here with regard to the Mr. Cardinal, and also he's been involved greatly with the mayor's, the group that the mayor, the group that comes to you, and you took to the IVDA and so forth. What it's the
pilot program for the shadowing of the mayor.
Shadowing, that's what I meant. There's a word there. And Jamie Rios was part of that as well. But there's about a dozen people that are being recognized this Sunday. Jamie Rios is just one of them. And again, that's going to be at the Elks Lodge beginning at 2 p.m., reception 2 p.m. to 2:30, and again, the awards will be given out shortly after that. RSVP again, 909-425-0111. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Councilmember Richard.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. On Sunday, May the 7th, at 4 o'clock p.m., we will be hosting the 7th Annual Inland Empire High School Black Graduate Recognition Ceremony. It's going to be at Cal State University, San Bernardino, at the Casuas Arena, 5500 University Parkway. Register at nationalblackgrad.org. Also the same day at San Bernardino Valley College, the members of the STEM experts are hosting a Women Leading the Way pop-up museum, and that's going to be from 12 to noon. So if you have a chance to pop by, there will be all sorts of STEM experts to have a conversation with you. And that's it. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilmember Nichol.
Yeah, well, first, I did have a quick question on the schedule. I did get some information that the Historic Preservation Commission was planning to meet at 4:30 p.m. on May 9th. Is that correct? The 8th, at what time? At 4 o'clock, okay, because ours says 5:30. I just want some clarification, because my understanding is there will be some discussion of the unreinforced masonry issue. There'll be a discussion on that, is that correct? It's a presentation, okay. So do we know what time that you will meet? Is it 4 o'clock or 5:30? I have different times.
I think it's two different events. The Historic Preservation Committee, I think they may be having a presentation, but later the Community Development Department is holding a workshop for property owners. And that meeting is, I think, now in the basement of City Hall. I think that it's in the basement because we're in the 201 building where they were going to have held it.
Okay, because I have had some questions on whatever, and looking at this schedule, it says 5:30 is when the Historic Preservation Commission is meeting. So I don't,
looking at it.
I'm getting different times, and I'm not clear when people ask me about that, what time and date and location I need to give them.
I don't know. It could. My understanding was it was right before our meeting. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. If we can make it clear when and where and all that.
And we sent out notices of the meeting to property owners.
Okay. And
Mark Pacheco knows all that information, so if you want to contact him or Oliver, those are the people that would know specifically. It's my understanding now it's going to be at 4 o'clock, and it's going to be in the basement. It's in lieu of our normal 5:30 meeting.
Okay. Like I said, I just want to make sure I give people accurate information. Okay. Finally, on Saturday, May 13th, 10 a.m., the Blair Park Neighborhood Association will meet at 3088 Serrano Road. Contact for that event is Ms. Joyce Seeger. She can be reached at 909-882-1372. Again, the Blair Park Neighborhood Association will meet at 10 a.m. on Saturday, May 13th. That's all the announcements I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Charette.
Mayor, I have two announcements. One is for Wednesday, May 10th, the regularly scheduled meeting of the San Bernardino Police Department Northeast District Coffee with a Cop at Denny's Restaurant, 702 East Highland Avenue. Contact Eileen Hards at the PD, 909-384-5694. Again, that's Wednesday, May 10th at 9 o'clock in the morning. And then Thursday, May 11th at 7 p.m. in the evening is the Wildwood Park Neighborhood Association meeting, Lutheran Church of Our Savior, 5050 North Sierra Way. Contact Tony Marzullo at 909-883-1315. Again, that's Thursday, May 11th, the Wildwood Park Neighborhood Association meeting at 7 p.m. at the Lutheran Church. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilman Valdivia.
Thank you, Mayor. I wanted to recognize the good work of our Parks Commission and for their diligent efforts in assisting out on the Park Rehabilitation Day on Saturday. I was unable to attend. I was out of town, but I have hosted several of these over the years and just couldn't make it this weekend. But very excited to hear some of the great reports from park commissioners and that have contacted me personally, and so I just want to send my deep appreciation to our Parks Commission as well as those individuals in our Parks staff that also supported the event. Something like over 100 volunteers, so I was just extremely encouraged that our citizens are very active in the community and very appreciative of their hard work. Graffiti paint down and some park improvements like a basketball court was installed, and we're so excited to see that park. Almost 17 acres of parkland space at the park at Lytle Creek Park has been improved over the years, and we're very, very fortunate. So I want to send my deep appreciation to them. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilman Barrios.
Thank you, Mayor. Just want to reiterate the League of Women Voters having their Citizen of Achievement Awards, and make it out there to that event to get to know these people that are in our community, and because someday you may be one of them that will be recognized. The information to get there, it's $20, $50, 55 Elks Drive, right at the end of Parisville Park. And the reception is going to be from 2 to 2:30 p.m. and the awards starting at 2:30 p.m. It is $10 to RSVP. Call 909-425-0111. On Wednesday, May 10th, at 6:30 p.m., the Muscogee Neighborhood Association meeting will be held at Davidson Elementary School at 2844 Davidson Avenue. For more information, contact Lynn Ware, 951-237-3016. Also, one great thing that we're going to be having within our community in the city, Saturday, May 13th, I'm excited to announce that at 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., the grand opening and dedication of the Bryce E. Haynes Park and John Cole Skate Park at 900 North East Street. For more information about that event, call 909-384-5332. I know myself, Mayor, and some other council members will be attending that great event that day. I want to commend Generation Now for a successful community town hall meeting that they held at the Garcia Center last week, and it was attended by our city manager, our city attorney, council members Marquez, Charette, Mulvihill, myself, and the mayor. It was a very, very great interactive meeting, and just want to commend them for doing that. And if you want to get involved with Generation Now and the meetings that they are continuously now having, they're having meetings on Sunday evenings. For more information on that, contact the Garcia Center. I don't have their information, but they're on the corner of 11th and East Street. I want to say thank you to the staff and Bertec for a successful mulch day. I know a lot of constituents come out from the city to collect mulch for their yards. And, you know, as far as California preserving water, it'll help them save on their water bill. So thank you to the staff, everybody that was involved in making that happen. And last but not least, I want to say a very happy birthday to my mother today. She is 77 years young, and just want to say happy birthday, Mom. That is all, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Marquez.
Thank you, Mayor. As a reminder, the City of San Bernardino and Suavecitos Car Club will be hosting Cinco de Mayo celebration on Saturday, May 6th from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. at Placita Park. There will be entertainment, a car show, and vendors. Please come and join us. For more information, you can call 384-5332. All proceeds will go toward the Veterans Day Salute event, which is hosted by the First Ward on an annual basis. The San Bernardino Business and Community Organization meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, May 9th at 10 a.m. This meeting will take place at the Arrowhead Event Center located at 180 South Arrowhead Avenue. Please come and join us for a morning of conversation with Lieutenant Rich Lawhead and myself. If you have any questions, you can call me here at 384-5188. On Wednesday, May 10th, the Ramon Alessandro La Placita Neighborhood Associations invite you to attend their quarterly meeting. Our guest speaker is Mike Burrows from IBDA. He will update us on the many great things happening at the San Bernardino International Airport. We will also have a second speaker to discuss and update us on the Mount Vernon Bridge. The meeting is scheduled for 6 p.m. and will be at the Villaseñor Branch Library located at 525 North Mount Vernon Avenue. I would like to take this opportunity to thank all of the service clubs that Jim Smith shared with us that participated in Community Day of Service last Saturday. Over 250 service club members and residents came out to Pioneer Cemetery and Second Lake and cleaned headstones, painted, and removed a lot of debris. Special recognition goes to Dr. Hill for coordinating such an ambitious endeavor. I don't see Margaret here, but if you're watching, thank you. And finally, thank you to all of the artists and attendees for your participation at our art night on April 21st and April 22nd. It was an event that was extremely well attended. I believe there was maybe between 3,500 and 4,000 guests. And yes, look forward to seeing you again next year. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. I'd also like to add my thanks to the great effort that went into our Saturday event that was very well attended. It was also Coyote Care Day that day, and I think they also participated, and I want to thank them. I want to thank all of those who did make the town hall a very successful event. It was very well attended, it was very well organized, and I thought that Generation Now and ICUC did an excellent job of conducting that meeting. And thank you to our city attorney for keeping it all very, no Brown Act violation charges. Also want to thank Burtech. On Saturday, they had a free dump day at the 66er Stadium. And I also want to thank all of those who participated and helped with the State of the City address. It was very well attended. I'm grateful for all those who put a lot of effort and a great deal of work on behalf of Evelyn and Chris and Erica. And thank you. They're breathing a little easier today. Anything from the city attorney's office?
Nothing, Mayor.
City manager?
Couple things. We've been scrambling to look up the May 8th workshop on unreinforced masonry. I believe it's at 4 o'clock, 4 to 6, and it's going to be held in the basement, big conference room at that time. We've invited the Historic Preservations Committee, and as a result, it needed to be established as a formal meeting so we don't have a Brown Act problem. It's not intended to be their meeting. They're invited to be party to this because obviously what they do is relevant to many of these buildings. So we will be grateful for their attendance. And there's some expert speakers who are coming to participate in this program, so hopefully it'll be informative. That was one thing. The other thing, someone brought up the NUSA, the gentleman who made the presentation on neighborhood associations. NUSA, or Neighborhood USA, 2 or 3 of you went last year, right? It's a great conference. It's at the end of this month. If other council members are able to go, it's one of those things I highly recommend. It works best for a community when council members and even city managers attend with the representatives of the neighborhood associations. I've seen cities send as many as 20, 25 people to this conference. It's a really good conference. And it's in Omaha, so no one's going to accuse anyone of taking junkets, says the guy from Fresno. So I do highly recommend this for anybody who can make that work. It's really a very, very good conference.
City Clerk?
I do have a really quick announcement. You may recall last year when Dennis Baxter came before the council and spoke about the Habitat for Humanity's Brush with Kindness program. And at the time, they'd received funds from San Manuel as well as Edison and a couple of other funders for that program, which is for elderly and low-income people who whose houses need to be rehabbed, not a new house, but have exterior and landscaping issues, and are owner-occupied. And I just was really pleased that this last weekend was the first house in San Bernardino that was worked on, and it was a disabled vet. They're trying to get 200 homes worked on in the immediate future, so if anybody would like an application, they can contact me personally. They can contact Ms. Richard. She also has applications.
City Manager, thank you for that report.
One other thing, as you all have noticed in your offices, we're packing. We're getting ready to move next Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We are going to have ads in the newspaper. We have a website that goes live tomorrow to help give the public information about what we're doing, who's moving where, how to go wherever it is you need to go at City Hall. Obviously, it's going to be a bit of confusion for a while. The good news is that we will have I think you've probably been on the tour, most of you. We'll have a ground floor office space right outside the Vanner Tower, which is right next to where we are today. And people at that ground level are going to be able to direct the public where they need to go to get to the various services. So we'll make it as convenient as possible, knowing that we're going to have some confusion, but we'll get through it, and we will appreciate everybody's patience with us.
Thank you. I'd just like to make one last comment regarding the police department and fire fundraising. I want to thank all of those who participated and supported that event. I want to thank also the trainers of our canine inspector who've done an excellent job of maintaining control over our new Sherlock. Thank you. This meeting is adjourned until 2 p.m. Monday, May 15th.
He's playing point guard. His strengths are his athleticism. I mean, he's quick. He can get to the basket very well, and he's athletic enough to finish over bigger players. Tony also played football as well, and last year after basketball season, he ran